previously when me and my dad went fishing, he snagged the end of his line. So I'm going to be teaching you how to be recreating the trace that you use, which is called the running ledger. And what you're going to be needing to do, you're going to be needing to get your bead and run it through your piece of catgut to the end. And then once you've done that, you're going to need to get this tube, and you can buy them at any fishing store. It will come with the swivel and the clip attached to it, but you will need to buy the weight separately. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to start with the short end first and run it through to the long end. So through the short end and then out through the long end. And the reason why you're doing this is because when it's in the water, it gives the hook more freedom to move around. So when it goes to the bottom, it will move around easier instead of the short end being there, because then it will have less freedom. So then once you have brought that through your piece of catgut, you're going to need to get another bead and run it through the piece of catgut. And that is your first bit done. And what you need to do now is get your swivel and tie it on. And I showed you how to do that in my previous video. What you'll need to do is you need to create the eye, twist it around 7 to 8 times. There we go. And it can't be less than 7. It has to be 7 or more. It can't be less. And then you put it through the eye, and then to make it easier to tie on, you suck on it or dip it in some water. That just helps it slide down easier. He says while struggling to tie it on. There we go. And now your swivel should be attached to your piece of catgut. And then once you've done that, you need to get another piece of catgut about both your arm's length, stretch them out and hold the piece of catgut, and that's how long it's supposed to be. And you just use the exact same technique to tie it on. Only this time it might be a little bit harder because you might twist the other bit of catgut on the other side, but it shouldn't be too tricky. There you go. And now you should have your swivel attached to 2 pieces of catgut, and you might have some excess wire there, and all you need to do is get your knife and chop that off, but you mustn't chop it off too close to the swivel, otherwise your knot will come undone. And then what you need to do now is, with your piece of different type of catgut, you're going to need to get your hook and tie that on. And then you can just do any knot, but I prefer to do all the same knots, so it's just like it's easier to do. And the knot that we've been doing, it's really strong. So once you've done that, you stick it through, and be careful not to catch yourself on the hook. The hook size that I am using is a 3/0, preferably because in Guernsey you get smaller fish, but if you're wanting to catch some bigger fish, you will need need a bigger hook, but if you live in Guernsey, use a 3/0 hook. There we go. That should do it. There you go. Now that is your hook attached, but I've got loads of catgut left over, so I'm just going to chop that off. There we go. And that is your running ledger jig complete. So you're going to need to have your bead, then short end first, your swivel, your clip, your weight, all the way to the long end, your other bead, your swivel, then your 2 arms length of catgut to your hook. Thank you very much for watching and stay in tune.